Excellent. So as mentioned, I'm the founder of Postcode F. Postcode F is essentially a recruitment platform that I've built to connect skilled refugees as well as migrant talent with SMEs and startups, as well as large corporations looking for talent. The aim is to do this in a thoughtful, considerate, as well as effective and efficient manner. I'm at a point now where I'm starting to work with startups, but essentially looking to roll this program out as part of large corporations' diversity and inclusion programs. Ooh. And on the other side, I also wear another hat, which is I'm a recruitment lead, as Dave mentioned, at Uber. I have been in recruitment for the last 10 years, worked with lots of different companies across lots of different industries as well as markets. And yeah, so I'd like to think that I know, a little bit about how kind of people operate and some of the effective recruitment strategies for businesses every size. So I'm just here to share a couple of things, a couple of my thoughts with you guys, and I would love to get, any questions, and I want to make this as interactive as possible. So please, feel free to shoot questions as and when you think is appropriate. So we're going to be covering three major buckets. So number one is the co-founder checklist. So I'm going to talk to you about, from my experience and also from my experience working with startups and my own personal experience, some of the things you need to actually consider when you're looking to onboard a co-founder to your startup. Number two, once you actually do that, how do you actually grow your business? From your, from 1 to 10 to 10 to, 30 and 30 to 50, and some of the things to consider. And then finally, for those who are not ready to quit their daytime job and become the next Elon Musk, what are your options? How can you still, make an impact and work in a startup, but not at times, have all the risk of being that founder? Excellent. So I'll start off. Now, obviously, finding a co-founder, it's just like many things in life, is an art and a science. There's no one size fits all, but there's a couple of things that you can actually look out for. I like to split it into a quantitative as well as a qualitative framework. And, because certain things obviously are much more measurable and other areas are a little bit more softer. And so if you're able to combine both together, I think you will essentially have a good formula to finding the right person to build a business with. So on the quantitative side, this is, I guess, some of the measurables. One thing I always recommend is before you do onboard someone, make sure you have the opportunity to actually work with them. And I actually like to do this over a 6-week period. And this is an opportunity for you to actually work together on a specific problem that your startup is going through. It's almost a microcosm of what the relationship would be in the longer term. So the things I would ask and encourage you to do is create a problem and set expectations with that specific person. Align on working styles, put together communication cadence around, check-ins, formalize everything. And then also finally think about, if things were not to work out, how would you actually go about handle it, and ensure that person is able to be self-sufficient even when you're not there. And I guess looking at all of these different areas, you can assess how that would actually play out in a 6-week period. And once that happens, it's going to give you a little bit more insight into actually whether this person's going to be the right fit or not. And looking at the qualitative side, I do believe that at the end of the day, values are really, really important, because building startups are fundamentally extremely hard. It's going to test your patience and who you are and your character. And fundamentally, if you can align on why you're doing what you're doing, it's going to get you through the hard times. I believe co-founder relationships are probably like a marriage, and it's one of the most important relationships you'll ever build in your life. So it's really, really important for you to understand what's happening in your co-founder's life. So really dig deep to find out what their current situation is. Do they have children that they need to actually consider? Because that's obviously going to impact how they can work. Are they a single person? Are they going through a divorce? Have they lost a parent? I don't know. Or are they, at a point in their life that they can take high risks and they don't need to actually think much about, things that you really care about in your own personal life. I also think one thing that's really important is honesty. When you speak to a co-founder or pitch to a co-founder, it's really important to tell them exactly where it is your business is at. I've seen a lot of founders want to bring in big hitters, heavy hitters into their business. So they sell this idea of where the business is going to be rather than where it is right now. And that's been a big reason why the relationship hasn't worked out, because there's this expectation, a co-founder coming in thinking that all these, wonderful things are going to be set out to them, but it obviously isn't. So honesty is key, and just sell it like it is. Excellent. So the next step is, obviously you found your co-founder. That's the ideal scenario. How do you actually take where you're at now into new phases and scale the company? One thing that I've realized with working with startups is that the type of people that you hire at every stage of your startup is so critical, because these are the people that are going to take your company to the next level. And I like to split it up into 3 buckets. So when you're just yourself or a co-founder or up to 10 employees, you really need people who are comfortable wearing different hats. They need to be, your hustlers. They need to be your tinkerers. And, obviously we have a lot of hustlers in this group, so I'm sure you know exactly what you're talking about. You're all probably really good at spinning magic out of absolutely nothing, which is such an important skill when you're at that size. You need people with a lot of energy, with a lot of flexibility. So the focus should be bringing on people like this when you're at growing up to about 10 people. When you're looking to grow out of that size and start to really think more about, well, I would say that you've got your funding, you validated your product, you know exactly where you're going. At this point, it's really important to hire individuals who are passionate about processes. They want to actually establish structure. And number 2, leadership skills. And a lot of startups actually forget about this, but it's such a critical role, because individuals who have stuck with you are going to start wondering about their career and where they're going to be stepping into next. And having leadership skills is going to help you step away as a founder from the business, and then help other people actually manage and inspire. And once you get to that stage, and when you're about 50 people at that point, it's very important to hire for the future. You don't want to hire people who are always in the detail and want to kind of get things moving along. It's really important at this point to bring in people who have vision, who are big picture thinkers, and are fundamentally going to be taking your business global, and people who think that way. So that's kind of a few of my tips around the type of people you should actually be thinking about as you grow your business. People strategy. One thing, again, I hear about from a lot of founders is that we're constantly competing for talent against, your large consultancies, your large banks, and your big businesses, and also very successful tech companies. So how do you, small 2 to 3 type business attract talent? What kind of story, what can you be doing, especially when you're time poor and resource poor, to attract talent? Couple of things that I believe that you can do that's going to cost you very little money is defining a story and a narrative around what you're trying to do. One thing is an employee value proposition. Now, an EVP is the way I would get you to think about it is, if you have your product, and how you pitch your product is the same kind of process that you put against your company. So if your company was a product, why would people want to use it? Or why would people want to, be part of the experience? And if you ask those questions, you'll slowly be able to come up with some answers that are quite objective. Because I think everyone likes to think that their company is amazing, that the product is amazing, that they're going to change the world. And absolutely, and some do, some don't, some pivot. But fundamentally, you need to think about what's going to get people excited to actually join you on your journey. Apart from that, values and mission. One thing that's important that I've seen is that smart people don't join, smart people don't join because of salary sometimes, or it doesn't come down to, the brand of the business. It comes down to vision and values, and as well as the mission of the business. So it's really, really important to actually define what you stand for. Because again, that's what's going to get you through the hard times. People will stick with you if you're able to, make them understand and believe that what they're working on is greater than them. So that's also something to think about. Diversity and inclusion, social impact. This is a huge piece, and most businesses at any size are actually thinking about this right now because of the current social and economic climate that we're operating within. So think about, and when I speak to founders who are, running, who have just started, or about 10 people, they always tell me way too small to think about social impact, or it's not a priority because it's not going to make me money right now. But that's the biggest mistake you can make, because when you get to 10 to 20 people or even 50 people, it's going to be really, really hard for you to start thinking about what your CSR or your corporate social or your D&I stance is. And that's something investors actually look for. And that's people actually care about that. And people want to work for good companies. People want to work for good people. So if you can start that type of thinking at the very beginning, it's going to make your business much more successful and help attract and retain talent. And the next one is challenging projects. Think about interesting problems that people want to actually work on that's unique to your product, and then ensure that you're able to actually present that to your potential candidates. It doesn't need your product doesn't need to be the most sexy product in the world, but if you can provide interesting problems for people to work on, whether they're a software engineer or a data scientist, it's always going to make it more attractive for them to obviously join the business. The final two that I've highlighted is flexibility. This is a huge one. The future of work is where we're at right now. So fundamentally, you need to trust people and give them the flexibility to do the job that they've joined to do. And then finally, salary and equity as well. Obviously, this is something that's, I guess, it's different with every business, but very important to think about. And if you want to talk a little bit more about this, hit me up after this conversation. I'm happy to give you one-to-one advice, but it's quite an important thing as well. All right. This is the final part of the presentation. As I mentioned before, I know a lot of people have different kind of, life experiences, and you might not be able to quit your daytime job and throw everything into one project. And if you don't have that sort of opportunity to start your own business, or if it's just not your cup of tea, but you still want to work for a startup, then there are options for you. Now, these are the reasons that I personally would, if I wasn't running my own business, would join a startup. And first thing that I can recommend is the personal and professional development. If you work for a big bank or a consultancy, your career trajectory is going to be you're going to have to wait at least 5 to 10 years to get to exactly where you want to get to. Working in a startup, you really get hands-on experience with lots of different things because of the lack of bureaucracy and the visibility that you do get. You are able to grow much faster than you would in a larger organization. And secondly, if the business is successful, then you cash out. If you have equity in the business, then that's an amazing reason, why you did join the startup in the first place. My current boss at Uber actually joined Microsoft, Apple, as well as Uber in their early days, and has financially made quite a lot of money out of just working for these companies. So obviously that's something worth considering as well. I think most people now want to make an impact. They're sick of just like being behind a computer and crunching numbers, and joining a startup, you actually will have the opportunity to do that, especially if you find a startup that's working towards a specific purpose that you're passionate about. This is exciting for me, high risk and high reward. I love taking risks, but sometimes, the risk, I would say I love taking risks, and most people like taking risks, but fundamentally you don't want to take all the risk on. So if you want to share the risk with a founder, but you don't want to be the sole kind of, owner of that risk, then joining a startup is a great way, because then you do have the opportunity again to be part of that growth trajectory, but at the same time not have that level of risk that actually impacts your entire life. And finally, purpose. I know that I've spoken to a lot of people that are disillusioned with working with large corporations, and, are looking for a little bit more purpose. And if you're at a point in your life where you're like, I'm sick of working for CBA, I'm not really contributing to anything, joining a startup is a great way to kind of actually figure out what it is that you want to do, because there's so many amazing startups in Sydney at the moment, and across so many different industries. And just I wanted to pull this slide back up, and these are for people who want to join startups. Think about this as well, and think about who you are as a person. Are you a tinkerer? Are you someone who's a leader and wants to establish processes, or are you a blue sky thinker? And really assess where your strengths lie. Therefore, you're able to actually make the type of decision and join the right startup moving forward.
Der ist schon lange kein Staubsauger mehr gesehen, Mann.
Hello, everyone. I am Sebastian. I am the co-founder of Phoebe. I have a background in international human rights law and business, and I have worked with organizations such as the Clooney Foundation for Justice, UNAIDS, and the Center for Reproductive Rights in New York. Victoria, who's my co-founder, has a background in intellectual property law and management consulting. The problem that we're tackling is that we know that LGBTIQ people lack awareness about their propensity to mental illness and other health problems. We know that 41.1% have a diagnosed mental health condition, and we know the right solution. So Egal is an internet company that uses AI technology in the form of digital humans and telehealth to connect LGBTIQ people with professional counselors online. If you feel passionate about mental health, LGBTIQ equality, and technology, this is your right startup, and we look forward to meet you. So just send me an email, go in the document, and it's sebastian@egalhealth.com. Thank you.
Good job. Thank you so much, Sebastian. I love a founder who sticks to time. Well done. Next up, we have Phoebe. Phoebe, we'll give you the spotlight.
Hey, thanks so much. So for 3 out of 4 Australian women, walking to an obstetrician's or gynecologist's appointment produces feelings of nervousness and vulnerability, which can lead to avoidance and further health complications. So what if our doctor-patient relationships became so strong that we would never hear damaging stories like this again? So my name's Phoebe Butler. I'm the founder and CEO of MedEQ, Medical Emotional Intelligence, which is a SaaS platform that strengthens the doctor-patient relationship through building trustful communication and emotional intelligence. I'm here to connect with individuals within software development and/or product development as well. We have letters for intent from Monash University's medical dean and a location for clinical trials. So our next steps are to develop, which is really exciting. So if you want to know a bit more about me, imagine if Phoebe Buffet from Friends and Amy Santiago from Brooklyn Nine-Nine had a love child. That would be me. And otherwise, just send me a LinkedIn message.
Thank you so much, Phoebe. I feel like I learned a lot about you with that very simple explanation. Next up, we have Mika from Plugged Education. Welcome, Mika. Take it away.
There are 78,000 students who sit the HSC in New South Wales who face one of the most stressful decisions in their life: what to do next. I surveyed nearly 500 of them and found that 61% of students do not feel confident about their course or remain undecided, and 55% of undecided students feel lost and uncertain. Sadly, 70% of Australian students experience poor mental health as a direct result of feeling stressed. So how can we transform this stress into excitement for life after high school? Introducing Plugged, the only personalized solution in Australia that visualizes a student's future possibilities beyond a degree. So far, we have built relationships with 4 different secondary schools who have expressed interest in trialing our product, made connections with the only careers advisory association in the state, and have received over 100 student signups in less than a month from our first MVP. If you know any school executives, or if you're interested in joining my team as a CTO, please feel free to reach out to me at mika@plugged.education. Thank you.
Fabulous, Mika. Thank you so much. Next up, Sean from Spider Silk Researchers.
Hi. At Spider Silk Research Lab at UNSW, we have two objectives. One is a long-term research and development objective where we're looking at developing high-performance fibres that companies and government agencies such as military might invest in for us to build fibres that perform specific functions. In the short term, what we think we can do is produce a supply chain of materials for research purposes. And that would come originally from spiders. We can silk the spiders themselves. Why would researchers ask us as opposed to harvesting the silk themselves? Is, well, we have years of, particularly myself, years of know-how how to collect the silk directly from spiders. We have the space in UNSW to house a whole bunch of spiders to develop silks, and we can specifically cater for very specific needs. We can package them in specific ways as our distributors ask for. So,
Thank you so much, Sean. Much appreciated. Again, we have the breakout rooms later. So if you need to ask questions, we can always jump in and have follow-ups there, especially for, we have quite a few technical co-founders with deep research. So which will have a lot of questions, I'm sure. Next up is Ada from Talency.
Hi there, I'm Ada. I'm from Talency. So Talency is a business where we connect freelancers with businesses for short-term projects. So we live in a world with so many people, and in turn, so much competition for your dream job. These days, you need to differentiate yourself and have relevant experience in every field. Sadly, this has become very difficult with people just holding a tertiary degree or trying to get their foot in the same door. How can you efficiently develop the skills that employers from blue chip companies are looking for? Here at Talency, we connect people with task-oriented jobs, not roles, to develop very specific skills in everything from digital marketing to data analysis. People will be matched with a specific job at a real business, for example, creating digital marketing materials, get paid for the hours that they work. We coach, mentor, and help you succeed in the role, and then add the skills to your resume. I work with corporations, professional networks, and universities, and basically want to help people succeed. So if you're interested in Talency, feel free to send me an email. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that one, Ada. So next up, we have Sayaf from Expert Flow.
Yes. Hey there, this is Sayaf, founder of Expert Flow and CTO. And Wes is here with me to join this session. Few years ago, while we were working on healthcare project, we discovered that the second highest leading cause of death in the world are infections such as pneumonia, UTI, and surgical wounds. In medical jargon, it is known as sepsis. Recent studies have shown that COVID-19 also lead to sepsis. At Expert Flow, we have come up with a solution called daunting, which predicts sepsis in real time before onset using computer vision and artificial intelligence. Daunting works by acquiring high-impact vitals and feeds its robust algorithm. We have identified hospitals, insurance companies, and nursing homes as our potential customers, and our team's having a combined 30+ years of experience in healthcare industry. We are looking for hustlers in business development and developer for machine learning. So let's join us to combat sepsis. And if you are interested, so you can reach to me through our website or in email address or LinkedIn. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sayaf. Well done. Next up, Sarah Crow from Four Eyes Vision.
Hi, I'm Sarah Crow from Four Eyes Vision. I'm an eye surgeon, and I've worked in the Pacific Islands, where I came to realize that 1 billion people in the world have poor vision simply because they don't have access to affordable glasses. So I invented the Four Eyes Vision Kit, which contains everything that a layperson needs to be able to test for and dispense customized affordable glasses on the spot. We've done pilot projects in Papua New Guinea, which have been very successful. We're refining prototypes and scaling up to manufacture at the moment. We have projects for the next 6 months planned in East Timor, Fiji, and remote Australia. Now, I'm a surgeon, an innovator, a disruptor, and I have clinical knowledge and connections. But what I need is a business development manager, someone who's a bit of a terrier or a hustler, preferably with marketing experience or who wants experience to make the world a better place, to join the Four Eyes team. And if you'd like more information, just get in contact with me. Thank you.
Fabulous, Sarah. Thank you so much. All right. Next up, we have Jeffrey from Mobila.
Hello, I'm Jeffrey, and my company is Mobella. And Mobella is a special blog designed for the product, for the goods in the supermarket. And the idea is, basic idea is, for example, everybody has a blog, right? But why should we design a blog for the product? Because when we can scan the barcode and we scan anything, we want to get the information from the product. But what we can see now is only the price, the name. But for the consumer, just like me, I want to know more, right? So we built a blog. The blog shares resources from others, for example, the YouTube, Canva, and anything else, because there's no platform can be provided as edits, including all the solutions. Only solution is shared from resource from other place. So that is basic principle of the goods blog. So what I want is some people in the retail market who is a specialist in this area, and who is maybe the PHP developers. And I hope we can build this prototype together. And yes, this is Mobella, some special blog with shared knowledge.
Thank you so much, Jeffrey. Good job. Cheers. All right, we have Michael from CircX. Hi, Michael. Ready?
Hey, so I'm Michael from CircX. Our mission is to revolutionize the way people shop secondhand. So there's two parts to the concept of CircX. With the first part, we're building cost-effective software and AI to help charities list their items from op shops to an online sites. With the second part, this then feeds, the catalog then feeds into a Chrome extension concept. So imagine when a user goes onto eBay or Amazon, CircX will look at the product description and images and runs a reverse image search and keyword search to find items from an op shop database. So this helps secondhand. This helps people to buy secondhand. So which is better for the consumer because it's cheaper. This helps the environment because we're diverting waste from the landfill, and this is also helping charities because we're working with them and helping them raise funds. We currently have 8 volunteers helping us at Enactus UNSW. We're about to launch a trial with Salvos. We start working on the AI bits, and we're looking for a business co-founder and tech co-founder.
Thank you so much, Michael. Really good job there. And finally, bringing us home tonight, Steph from Varula. Take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name is Steph, and I'm the founder and CEO of Varula. Varula believes that no woman should fear life after breast cancer, because 1 in 9 women worldwide need to have a mastectomy due to breast cancer. Our mission is to help women by creating customized and comfortable breast prostheses that are made specifically for their bodies. Our prostheses are 75% lighter than any other on the market and are designed to distribute weight for utmost comfort and ease of movement. The best part of our product is it is completely rebated by Medicare, so the women aren't out of pocket. So currently I'm finishing up on my prototyping and ready to start user testing within the next month. And I've secured partnerships with breast cancer support groups and are in the process of partnering with lead breast surgeons in Australia. I am a biomedical engineering student at UTS, and I'm looking for someone to help me with ops and hustling, but is also passionate about making a difference.